situation appears as an event, though, as I said, it appears as an event because we are continually distracted by so many ongoing things in our lives that there's only so much that we can pay attention to. And things that we're not paying attention to continue to evolve. I mean, it's just because we're not paying attention to them, they don't go into static mode. And when things progress to a certain point and capture our attention and are not the way that we would like them to be, we perceive them to be a, a problem, a situation, event, whatever, though they are actually the result of some unfolding patterns of behavior over time. And because if we're going to deal with the situation, we have to continue to seek out what things are relevant in terms of contributing to that situation. So we need to understand the the changes that have happened over time, and we do that by trying to identify those patterns that have evolved that seem relevant to the situation. Now, there could be literally hundreds of patterns evolving over time, but probably only a couple of them that are relevant to the particular situation. And we begin to seek them out and unfold them so that we, in fact, have a better sense of how things transpired over time so the event got to be the way it is. And it's appropriate to understand what kind of a time frame are we talking about. For the current situation, is it something that has evolved over the last week or the last 5 years? It's appropriate to look at a time frame that's appropriate to what led up to the situation. If I keep using this bathtub example. To look at a situation where the bathtub overflowed and flooded the bathroom, looking at that on a time frame of years is probably not appropriate. Looking at it in a time frame of 30 minutes on a minute by minute increment is probably appropriate. So one needs to look at the situation and understand what what time frame makes sense so that you can capture the the relevant changes that give you a sense of how things changed leading up to the situation as it is. And the whole idea is an ongoing attempt to understand what's relevant. Now, when I say continue to try and understand what's relevant, it's appropriate to realize in this whole process that's unfolding, it's really a recursive process. So that I do A and then I do B and then I do C, and in doing C I learn something that says, well, I have to go back and redo A. And when I redo A, it says, well, I got to redo B and now I got to redo C again. So that every step along the way, it's possible that you learn something so that it says we can now go back and revisit the previous things that we did and actually develop a better understanding of those, because all of the understanding that we develop along the way gets us to a point where we're in a better position to develop an appropriate strategy that allows us to deal with the situation in a very effective manner. So developing the patterns of behavior is just one of those aspects. And look at it as, I hate the statement trial and error, because it's not. It's really trial and learning. We do things to learn from the doing, things that we couldn't figure out simply by thinking about them. We have to do things to understand more so that we can figure out how to better understand. So I prefer to think about it as trial and learning. Now, in terms of developing these patterns of behavior, there are times when you can do research and find the data that gives you a sense of how to develop these unfolding patterns of behavior over time. And then there are times when the data simply doesn't exist, and you simply have to build the apparent behavior patterns from the stories that people tell about history. In the research, if there is real data, it's preferred. If you can't get real data, use the stories. Whatever it is that you develop as a pattern of behavior simply adds to an understanding of the nature of the unfolding that got things to be the way it is. So, hope you found this informative, and I'll see you in the next segment. Bye.